Succah daf nun beis. The Gemara on the bottom of nun aleph and beis says B'Rishono hayinoshim b'fnim v'anoshim b'chutz v'yiboyin deli kalas roish. And the Gemara says the Masakin that the noshim should be milmala v'anoshim milmato, and they shouldn't become the kalas roish. And the Gemara asks, how could they be Masakin that the ladies should be on a higher platform? It says in the pasuk Hakol b'ksav yadalei hiskil, and that Gemara says Ashkach v'doresh, b'sof da'oretz, shpachas b'shachas levad, noshim levad. So since we don't have the pasuk that the behesped, noshim levad, the noshim was separate, so therefore it's not a chesaron of Hakol b'ksav. In this Gemara, there's a tremendous machlokes Moshe and Satmar Rebbe's about what the Geder of the Chiyuv mechitzah is. Moshe has an arichas gadol to prove from our Gemara the Chiyuv mechitzah is min HaTorah, and explains what's understanding of the Gemara. How the Gemara answered the kasha of Hakol b'ksav says since there's a chiyuv mechitzah midiraisa, so therefore it's not a chesaron of Hakol b'ksav, because it's as if it says in the pasuk that you have to have a mechitzah, and therefore it's not a chesaron of Hakol b'ksav. He says you can't say the mechitzah ladies will come into the azor that they need to be separated because hakorchoch noshim come into the mechitzah by hakel, so hakorchoch it's included in the because of the mechitzah that there has to be a separation in the Beis Hamikdash. And Moshe brings it. The Marsha over here says that the understanding of the Gemara is that since the binyan is not l'tzurich avoda, rather it's lafushim yisu erva, so therefore it's not a chesaron of Hakol b'ksav. And Moshe says a similar mahalchas move on the Rosh in Mesechus Midas that says that the reason why they made a srug in the Beis Hamikdash is the hata tiltul on Shabbos in the Beis Hamikdash was to the srug, and Tzorchim wise in the chesaron of Hakol b'ksav. So it's mashma like the Marsha that since tzorich of avoda it's not a chesaron of Hakol b'ksav. But Moshe says it's tzorich and gadol. So it's before the Gemara that if you cover the blood of a korban, it would be a chesaron of Hakol b'ksav, even though it's not tzorich avoda. And it says furthermore, according to the Mashal, that the point of the Gemara is that since it's not tzorich avoda, it's not a chesaron of Hakol b'ksav. So what does the Gemara have to say? Even without the fact that the mechitzah is not a tzorich of the avoda, it's not included Hakol b'ksav. So Moshe says, you see, that even without tzorich avoda, it would be a chesaron of Hakol b'ksav. And the understanding is like he says that, like in Moshe's Yisod, that since it's a deraisa to make a mechitzah, it's not a chesaron of Hakol b'ksav. And he says the understanding in the Rosh is that the whole halach of Hakol b'ksav is in the harbayis and the azor, but not in the chel. And he brings rayas that the chel has as kedusha of ayin sham. Then Moshe says a tremendous yisod that the chiyuv to make a mechitzah is to stop the kalas roish bein anoshim the noshim, and it's not to stop men from the issa staklis. Although there's an issa staklis midiraisa, so the chiyuv mechitzah is not because of issa staklis. The chiyuv mechitzah is to stop the kalas roish, and therefore Moshe says that if you have a mechitzah that reaches the shoulders of people and therefore will stop kalas roish, it's mutter if it's 18 tefachim high, it's enough even though the men could see over the mechitzahs, because he says over here, and he proves in the fact that now Succah, the ladies were on a balcony upstairs, and there's Nahuska that there's a mechitzah on the balcony, so even though the men could see the ladies, but since they weren't, it doesn't come like the kalas roish. And even though the men cannot look at the ladies, each person has to stop himself from Issa Star, which it says, for sure if someone wants to make a higher mechitzah tov their bracha, but the din of the chiyuv of mechitzahs is only to b'nei kalas roish, and it's enough mechitzah that's megiya the chesafai. The Satmar Rebbe is Meirich in the Sefer de Beyoy, the arguing Moshe, and he says that even according to Moshe, that the Geder mechitzah is to b'nei kalas roish. If you have a mechitzah that only covers to the shoulder length but doesn't cover the faces of people, since they could talk, the men and the ladies together, it could maybe they kalas roish. How could a Moshe prove misvara ba'alma that as long as it's megiya l'chsafayim, it's enough to b'nei kalas roish? And since it's a chashash of Issa deraisa, how could he prove misvara ba'alma to be matir on mechitzah and it's megiya l'chsafayim? Then he continues after Moshe says that the mechitzah is to mean kalas roish. He says in the Rambam Pirush Mishnah. So if you're not like that, the Rambam Pirush Mishnah says that the mechitzah is to mean staklos, and Moshe himself brings the Rambam Pirush Mishnah and he explains the Rambam Pirush Mishnah doesn't mean staklos by itself. It says a staklos that will bring the kalas roish. And Satan Rebbe continues that the emes is mavur that mitzad kalas roish they wouldn't have to be a mechitzah to stop kalas roish. It's mavur in the Rambam Hilchos Yontiv that there was a chiv on Bezdin to put shoitrim and watchmen in Guinness and Pardesim to make sure the men and ladies don't come to kalas roish. So in Guinness and Pardesim they had shoitrim standing to be on guard that they shouldn't come kalas roish. So why in the base of English as well couldn't they have shoitrim to watch over that they shouldn't come to kalas roish? And why do you need to have a mechitzah? Rabbi Moshe holds although shoitrim could have perhaps stopped kalas roish, but there's a chiv mechitzah which is a clear boundary to stop kalas roish. Moving further on, the Gemara says that also love HaKadosh Baruch Hu is maybe Yitzro and he's sheikh v'nei tzadikim v'nei Rasha, and the tzadikim it's nidmul them kehar and Rasham is nidmul lahem kechut asayra be'elu ve'elu boichim. They both cry. The tzadikim cry. How are they able to overcome the Yitzro? That's a har gadol kazeh, and the tzaddik and the Rashaim cry. How were they not able to withstand the Yitzro? That's only kechut asayra. Tzarich and gadol mafurish ask, what's the understanding of this Gemara? How could it be the Yitzro is viewed by the tzaddikim like a har gavoya, and by Rishoyim kechut asayra? The Sfas Emes explains the understanding is that a Rasha, that just a small enticement of the Yitzro falls. So therefore, looking back, he sees the fact that he fell off from the Yitzro, even though it was only like a kechut asayra. However, a tzaddik that withstands more and more of the challenges of the Yitzro, and he does not fall, even though it gets harder and harder. So therefore, in the eyes of a tzaddik, the Yitzro is like a har gavoya. And as the Sema says, that's the understanding is in the Gemara further that kol gadol mechaver Yitzro gadol heimenu, the fact that by a tzaddik, the Yitzro gets harder and harder, and nevertheless he conquers even a harder Yitzro. I in the base of Levi al Torah that explains a different pshat in the Gemara. He says that be'emes all the nisyonis of this world is only a dimyan, and the Yitzro makes it look to a person like his taiv is much greater than it really is. He does the taivas moment when any other taiva of this world, it's all a dimyan kaisif. Ayin is shurim. You would have ayin hey that Gemara says in Yuma that taiv mare name isha. So therefore the Beis Halevi explains that by a tzaddik, the Yitzro did its job to make the taiv in the eyes of a tzaddik as much greater than it actually is. So therefore it's looked at like a har gavoya kazeh. However, the Rasha that falls right away, so therefore he sees after he took his taiva, he sees there was only a dimyan, and therefore he says, how could it be that he wasn't able to withstand kechut asayra kazeh? And the Gemara says, and kol gadol mechaver Yitzro gadol heimenu. The Gemara brings the story of Abai, that Abai was going on a way and he saw a man and lady going on a long way, and they were nichshel and nechet. And Abai said if he would have been together with the lady for such a long time, he would have been nichshel. And the Gemara explains because kol gadol mechaver Yitzro gadol heimenu. I'm safe in Michtav al Yofer. That's the Zechron Levach that explains the understanding in this Gemara is that in Vurim Yisrael Salanter in Igeres Musa that there's two Yitzharos. There's the Yitzhar Mifnim and there's the Yitzhar Mechutz. The Yitzhar Mifnim is the taivas and the natural taivas within a person. And then there's another Yitzhar, a Yitzhar Mechutz, that's a malach that comes to machshel a person, and he explains that be'emes, when a person does not work on himself to yimashlim and to misaken his midas, he doesn't need Yitzhar Mechutz to entice him to averos. He naturally has the inclination to do averos because of the Yitzhar Mifnim. And then afterwards, someone that's gadol and was misaken his midas mifnim, afterwards a malach comes, which is the Yitzro b'chutz, to entice him to do averos. And that's what kol gadol mechaver Yitzro gadol heimenu is, that there is a Yitzro b'chutz that it's oimen and trying to get any way to be machshlim and nachet. He says that's what we find many Gemaras that you see Tanoim and Amorim that had a Yitzro b'chutz that was trying to machshel naveis. And he explains the reason why there's a second Yitzro because the ikar gilui Hashchina is bismanes, a hester, so therefore, if as soon as a person would be mashlim his natural taivas, he wouldn't have a Yitzro anymore, so then he wouldn't to get agree to be zeicha afterwards to gilui. It's tzorchin according to the Mahalach, or if Dessler, that a Rasha only has Yitzro Mifnim and its Tzaddik has Yitzro B'chutz, it's tzorchin, and tomorrow before says that Kadosh Baruch Hu is sheich the Yitzro, and the Eil Boichin, for Tzaddik is Nilmam Kahar, and the Rasha looks at it Chotasayra, according to if that's two different Yitzros, so it's tzorchin, the Mor's Mashma, the same Yitzro, the Rasha views it like Chotasayra, and Tzaddik views the Yitzro as a Har Gavoy. And in Chaim Shmuel Levinson, in Sefer Sichas Musa, that proves that the understanding in Kol gadol mechaver Yitzro gadol mechitzah is not a pshat. Yitzro gets harder according to how much a person steigs. So therefore, even though he grew, he'll still have a challenge. And the bottom line is that gadol has the same challenge as a katan. He says, no, a kochas mvur and more by that the Yitzro tries harder, and it's harder for a gadol and a Talmid Chacham to withstand the Yitzro than a cotton, because you see that Abaya said that if he would have been on such a long derech with the Isha, he would have been nichshel. So you see the Yitzro tries harder to machshel Talmid Chacham, and his challenge is harder than someone that's not on such a high madrega. Ayin sham oid barichas.